Welcome back to Transistor Rodeo, where we round up the news for you. Where we leave off, we were going to talk about climate change. Okay, this is a huge topic. I'm going to try to keep it to the bullet points and not really get too in-depth in it. That can come at a later date. But climate change is real. We all know it. Even the people that say it doesn't exist, they know it too. You know, Rex Tillerson used to work for Exxon, and there's evidence now that's come out recently saying that Exxon scientists have known since the 70s. You know, it reminds me of the tobacco case. When was that? The late 80s, early 90s? It was the 90s, yeah. And
Philip Morris?
Yeah. It was 90s, okay. But we all knew that tobacco was bad for you. You know, we've seen what cigarettes do to people and how sick they get from them. And, you know, it was just trying to get them to admit it. You know, all we wanted them to do was tell the truth. So once the truth is finally established and we're out of this fact-free world, then we can start making preparations to make changes. But we're still in this denial phase. 1,800 of the most renowned scientists on the planet say it's happening. Data, mountains, pages, reams of data saying this is happening. Meanwhile, there are three climate science deniers. And yet they, for the news and major media, they put them side by side. They have a learned, intelligent scientist who's been studying this his whole life, and then we have another guy saying it's not real, and we call that fair and balanced. It's such bullshit. There's no fair and balanced. You wanted fair and balanced. You'd have 1,800 guys on one side, and then you have your shitty little three. Or we could just, do a little math here and call 600 scientists and one climate science denier. And I guarantee you, if you look at this guy's look at his bank account and see where his money's coming from, it's coming from big oil. They are paying these people to say it's not happening. Now, I love this part because this is, I want you guys to keep this in mind. When I am telling you these stories and trying to explain where I'm coming from, I'm also trying to explain this to people that I know and love personally who think that it's bunk, that climate science is bunk. And I'm trying to explain it to them. I'm sure that everybody has one of those in their lives. That is just so frustrating. I love you, but I want to choke you out. So I'm trying to explain this to them, okay? We have this argument that, well, if not 100% of the scientists agree, then it's still up in the air. The jury's still out on that, and the jury's still out. I know that you feel my frustration. I know you do, because it's killing me. They are of the mind that, and I've had this argument before, that a climate scientist is getting paid to be a climate scientist. So he's going to make decisions and write his report in a skewed way to make sure that he continues to make money off of it. Have you ever met a climate scientist with their pocket protector and their own uncombed hair, and they don't really give a shit about the way they look, they're just regular, ordinary, hardworking people that aren't really making a whole lot of money. You check those 3 climate science deniers and they're all in their nice pinstripe suits and they look fabulous on CNN because they're getting paid buckets of money to write this shit. Meanwhile, that side of it, they're all about the projection. It's like, I'm not the crooked one, you're the crooked one. Come on, really? All these scientists, they're all crooked because they're all getting paid to do this. It's like the analogy, I made up this analogy the other day. It's like, my plumber told me that I need new pipes, but it's okay because I talked to my mailman and he said everything is fine. That's the idea, that They don't want to believe climate science, It's like they'd rather take somebody else's word on it because they don't have a vested interest. These climate scientists don't have any more of a vested interest than you do. I mean, we all live on this planet. We all need clean air. We need clean water to drink. Basics of humanity. And meanwhile, we have morons and talking heads arguing about this over and over again, ad nauseum, saying the same stuff. The jury's still out. Look, I lived in New York for Sandy, and I used to live downtown on Water Street, and trust me, it lived up to its name. It's like 10 feet of water outside my apartment. Whole first floor, gone. And I saw the water rush in. It was these two enormous storms. They converge on our place, high tide. Next thing you know, it's a freaking tsunami in the middle of downtown NYC. Completely wrecked the area. I think it was $60 billion in damage between New Jersey and New York. Or is that just New York? I'm not 100% sure. $60 billion every time we have one of these storms. The Pentagon actually says that our number one crisis on this planet is not ISIS. It's climate change. They're already raising their docks. They already know it's coming. Everybody else seems to know. I think you know too. I just think that we keep putting in people in office who want to continue to make money off of the discrediting of climate science. We got to do something about this. And, writing your congressman, get out there and protest, really fight for it, because this is your planet too. You got to live here. It doesn't just stop with rising sea levels. I mean, that's one thing, but then you're going to have water issues where people aren't getting fresh water, and climate change isn't that it's getting warmer. It's this ridiculous argument where I believe he was a congressman shows up with a snowball in his hand saying, hey, there's no climate change. There's no global warming. It snowed. What an asshole. Climate change is extreme weather. Storms are going to be bigger. Droughts are going to be worse. Famine. Then you start going into another direction where when you don't have food and water, what are you going to have? You're going to have mass migration. You're going to have refugee problem. You're going to have starvation and people dying. I believe that they said it was, what was the number? 22 million people are in food risk right now. They do not have any access to food. They're going to die. That's just the beginning. I mean, when the oil wars are over with, it's going to be the water wars. And you think people are fighting over power? You see how they fight over water. We're in a predicament. We're in a really big problem right now, and we're not facing it. They said it was supposed to be 2 degrees Celsius. We've already passed that point. 400 parts of carbon in the air. We've already passed that point too. We are really way beyond what we ever thought. We've been talking about climate change since the 70s. We had a president back then that nobody really thought much of at the time, Jimmy Carter. It's the only president that never fired a shot. Got to give him credit for that. But he put solar panels on the roof of the White House, setting an example, saying, I'm hearing people talk about climate change. I'm responding to it. I'm setting an example. And then immediately Ronald Reagan comes in there and takes him off and says, fuck you, climate science. I don't buy it. I can't make money off of it. Funny thing is actually you can now. Yeah. Renewable energy from the sun, from the wind, wave technology, geothermal. Right now, Germany is, I believe, they're 75% off the grid already. They'll be 100% off, I believe, by I think it was 2025 or 28. They will be completely off the grid. Wouldn't that be wonderful? You know, got a little health care, got your power paid for, you know, but they want you on that tit. They want you. They want to be making money off of you. They keep telling you ways it's not going to work. How about we try a way that we ain't tried before, you know? Coal miners, they're upset about losing their job. Hey, let's get them some solar panel jobs. Makes a factory. Get a nice factory going for solar panels. We need them. Get them a job there. Get them the same benefits. Hook them up. I guarantee you that somebody working at a coal mine would much rather be working in a clean factory making solar panels than they would being in a hole in the ground digging out the nasty shit on earth so we can burn it. I mean, can you believe that we're still at this place? We are burning dead dinosaurs so we could travel around? Christ, when are we going to grow up? We're a bunch of kids. Do you really think that coal miners want to be down in that hole, digging out the nasty shit on earth so we can burn dead dinosaurs? Do you really think that that's what they want to do? If you gave them a factory with the same benefits so they could take care of their family in a good paying job, you think that they wouldn't take that in a heartbeat? In a heartbeat. They don't want to be down that hole. The reason why they work that job is because they do get medical benefits and they do get a decent wage because it's dangerous and they know it. So they pay it to them. You know, if they don't have that job, what are they doing? They're working in a restaurant or, you know, pizza delivery or, you know, working at a gas station where they're getting paid minimum wage and they have to work 2 jobs. So of course they want to work that coal mine job. But if we were actually to give them a job where they could make that kind of money and not have the health risks that they do, you don't think that they would take that in a heartbeat? Of course they would. I was just told a moment ago that Germany is, at one point, was 87% off the grid. 87%. So much so that they had to cut the wind farm off because they were generating too much power and they didn't have the capacity to hold it. That is mind-boggling. Pretty sure they got single-payer health care, too. Oh, Jesus. You guys see it? The Merkel... Did you see that, by the way? The Merkel? Germany's leader, Merkel, she came to visit Donald Trump recently. And Donald Trump just sat there looking like a spoiled little shit kid with a smirk on his face. You know, the leaders are always supposed to be shaking hands, and Donald Trump has just this handshaking issue. He's either shaking somebody's hand to death. He's got the tiny hands. You know, Donnie Tiny Hands. He wants to make sure that, you know he's a man, even though he's got those little stumpy sausage fingers. So he either grabs a hold of you and pulls you in, or what do you do to the Japanese prime minister? He shakes the man's hand, and then you see the prime minister kind of, oh my God, I can't believe I just shook this man's hand. He's an idiot. Every time he meets a new world leader, he makes more of an ass out of himself. This time, he didn't even want to shake her hand. She's, you hear the reporters in the background, Mr. President, would you like to shake Angela Merkel's hand? And he just kind of sits there. Shake her hand. I don't want to touch her. Girls. Donald Trump, he didn't want to shake her hand. You know, I had this back and forth on social media a couple days ago with somebody about, well, I sure as hell wouldn't want to shake her hand either. Why? Because they're 80% off the grid. They have health care. They seem to be learning from their past mistakes with with Nazi Germany and all that. They don't deny it, not like we do. We came into this country and we completely decimated Native American life. I mean, you could think of so many stories. I just somebody was talking about recently the Trail of Tears as one of the most wretched, horrible stories I've ever heard. It is so sad. We did that. We don't talk about it much, though, because it's embarrassing. Makes us feel bad. I don't want to think about that. It's kind of how we look at homeless people. We're all so scared shitless that we're like one paycheck away from being that guy. So we don't want to look at him. So we don't want to think about the shit that we've done. You want to give Germany a hard time for actually teaching their kids, this is what we did. We went this far extreme. We went with little Mr. Mustache. Painting his damn SWAT stickers. Somebody said that the other day on the news. On CNN, they call them SWAT stickers. It's a swastika. Jesus, do I have to explain everything? God, these talking heads just kill me. They're dumb as a bag of hammers. I don't even know what the hell we're talking about here. What are we talking about? Climate change. You get me started on Donnie Tiny Hands and I just shoo. Anyway, we have climate change. It is a real thing. There is no denying it. We all need to put this baby to bed. Bring the jury in. They've been outside for a long time. It's cold out there. They want to come inside. I think it's time that we all just kind of get on the same page. What do you think? Move on. See if we can figure out an answer. Instead of fighting the question, figure out a solution. America used to be about leading. And the Republicans are always talking about America's always leading from behind. Well, we're taking our cues from you. We ain't going to fix it as long as China's not fixing it. Hey, China's on board. They really want to fix this problem. They see how bad it is. They're finally getting off their ass and doing something. Don't you think it's about time we do too? And we have a Secretary of State, Rex Tillerson. Couldn't be more of a cowboy oil tycoon name if you fucking drew him. You think our foreign policy is about oil? Oh, I wonder. Former Exxon CEO? Gee whiz. I think it is time that we all come to this decision. It's happening. It's real. Let's get to work and fixing it. Hey, this is Antoinette from Transistor Rodeo. If you like what you saw here, please subscribe for more videos and content, and you can follow me on Twitter at Transistor Rodeo.